We saw a video, I guess I want to talk to you about, there's one friend in particular your son spent a lot of time with, correct?
Correct.
Okay, we're not going to say his name, but let's just refer to him as the friend.
Okay.
Okay? Overall, was that your son's only friend?
That was his only friend that came over. He did have friends that he talked to during school, but that was the only one that he spent time with outside of school.
And how often would you say he came over?
Oh, he used to walk home with them every day from school. The summertime, he'd go on camping trips with us. Sometimes he would spend more than a week with us. He called him my second son.
Okay, he was the second son. Did you know he was going to be moving away at any point?
Not that abruptly, no.
Okay, so when he moved away, is it fair to say it was a surprise to you and your son?
It was.
What kinds of things would the boys do together at your house?
Oh, they go down to the lake and go fishing. They would walk to Little Caesars or Frosty Boy. They go in the backyard, shoot the BBs. They go swimming in the pool. We took them bowling a lot. They played video games.
Now, when you had him over at the house, or I guess was it more common for him to be at your house or for your son to be at his friend's house?
My son has never been to his house.
Okay, why is that?
Because he had OCD, not my son, but his friend had OCD issues, and he didn't want other people in the house.
At your house, did that friend exhibit any issues?
No, not at all.
Okay, so were you surprised when he moved?
Yeah, very surprised.
We saw evidence that you had Life 360 on your phone, and it was on James's phone, right?
Correct.
Can you tell the jury what Life 360 is, what the point of it is, why it's on the phone?
It's a family tracking app, so you know where people are at. My husband's mother-in-law got sick in the middle of April, and instead of me worrying about where he was while he was down in Florida with his mother and I was up here, we just installed the app on his phone, so I knew if he was at the hospital, if I knew he was at his dad's house. So just that way, I have to bottom. I'm always worried about him and places he goes. So it's just one thing that eased my mind a little bit.
Do you? Is that something you frequently message your husband? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Mm-hmm. A lot.
Okay, so the jury's going to see the entire stack of exhibits. If they go through all of your messages, how often a week would you say you're on top of him about where he is?
Daily.
What about your son? Were you ever worried about where he was?
I mean, not during the day. He was at school. If he didn't get home from school the time he was supposed to, I would worry about him.
Okay. And did you ever ask James about him in messages?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The prosecution introduced evidence that makes it sound like you and James only talk about these horses.
Actually, the form of the question makes it sound, and this is direct exam, not cross, so this should be non-leading questions as
Okay.
well.
How often would you say you discuss your horses versus your son when you're messaging each other?
A lot more with the horses.
Why is that?
Because my horses, at least, were accident prone, and my husband didn't know a lot about horses. They were more my thing. With him working from home, a lot of times I'd have him go out and check on him, tell him what to do. He started getting into him. He had questions. I knew my son was at school. I knew where he was at during the day. I can talk to him after school. Horses can't talk, so if something's wrong, we've got to kind of figure it out. But yeah, we talked a lot about horses.
Is it fair to say that, did you have additional conversations with James about horses and or Ethan?
Yeah.
How often would you and James talk about or talk to Ethan?
Well, talk to him every day. Talk about him probably every day too.
Okay. Did Ethan have scheduling things you had to work out?
Yeah, he had bowling practices throughout the week, bowling matches, and he worked part-time at a diner. So we had to work out transportation and scheduling with that.
In terms of your relationship with your son, how did you think your relationship was?
I thought we were pretty close. We would talk. We did a lot of things together. I trusted him, and I felt like I had an open door and he can come to me about anything. I mean, I felt as a family the three of us were really close.
Okay, you're getting a lot of, no, it's okay. You're getting a lot of redness here. Is that normal?
Yes, because I'm talking in front of people and my nerves act up. So I get splotchy and I might break out in hives, and I apologize.
Okay, but you are okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. So with regard to your son, did you ever go through his text messages, go through his bedroom? What kind of a parent were you in terms of going through those things?
I did not go through his text messages. I didn't have a reason to. His bedroom I would go through when I clean it. When I come across things, I look through it to see if it was something I needed to keep or throw away. But I never went through his text messages.
What about, you did say you went through his grades.
Correct.
Did you end up having discipline issues with him?
A couple of times we did, yes.
What kind of things would those be over?
Missing assignments in his grades.
Okay. What, any other things that were discipline issues
No.
at school or at home?
No.
Was there ever a time where you took away your son's phone?
Yes.
Okay, do you recall when that was?
I don't remember exactly. I just know he got really angry about it. But we took him away a couple of times. We've taken his video games away.
Why did you do that?
Missing assignments in his grades.
Okay, so same stuff.
Same stuff.
Okay. We're going to talk about some of the text messages, and you would agree the prosecution admitted some text messages about one of those times when you took away his phone.
Correct.
Okay, so we'll get there, okay? I want to talk about mental health. Did you ever believe that your son needed mental health treatment, therapy, counseling, anything?
No, I mean, there's a couple of times where Ethan had expressed anxiety over taking tests, anxiety about what he was going to do after high school, whether it was college, military. So he expressed those concerns to me, but not to a level where I felt he needed to go see a psychiatrist or a mental health professional right away. No.
Did you ever deny him or say, no, I'm not going to take you to a mental health professional? Did he ever ask you?
No, I mean, he one time when he was talking about what he wanted to do for his future, I don't know, he was feeling really down about it and stressed. My husband did call his school counselor to try to talk to him because they do a lot of future academic planning with the tech school.
Was that a mental health issue?
No, it was more or less addressing what was upsetting my son at that time.
Okay, and what was upsetting him?
The fact that he didn't know what he wanted to do. His grades weren't that great, so he was stressed out about getting into college. He was just having a hard time with his future goals.
Was there ever a time he was considering military?
He talked about it, yes.
Okay. Any other things that he talked about?
He wanted to go into video. He wanted to design video games. He wanted to own his own car shop, like not be the mechanic, but own the shop that mechanics worked at. But that was about it.
Okay. Were there other kinds of health treatments you did get for him? Like, did you take him to the doctor?
Yeah.
How often or for what?
When he got sick, if it was obviously, during COVID it was different because every little thing I freaked out about, so we'd take him to get a COVID test or take him to the doctors. But growing up, it would just be if he had a headache that persisted for longer than a week. But most things are nothing serious.
Did he have insurance? Did you have insurance coverage on your son?
My husband did.
Okay, always, or were there times where you didn't?
All the way up through October of 2021 when my husband lost his job. And I was going to add him on to my health insurance in November of 2021 at the end of the enrollment period. That was the only time that insurance lasts with him.
Was that one of the outstanding things going on the day that all of this unfolded?
It was.
Despite, in addition to physically going to the doctor, did you have access to some kind of virtual plan?
Yeah, through my company. It's called Allied Health Network. It's a virtual doctor's visit, and actually the prescriptions were free too. They didn't cost anything. So we use that. If you had strep throat, you can take a picture of the throat, send it to the doctor, and they can treat it from there.
Were there times that you called that did virtual visits regarding your son?
Yeah.
And were there times, did you ever go to an urgent care or anything like that?
Yep.
For what kinds of things?
Well, usually for sports physicals, but if he was younger and had a really high fever and his regular doctor couldn't get him in, we'd take him to urgent care. He's never had an injury or anything, so mainly just that.
Was there ever a time that he had an issue with a mole on his back?
Yeah, he had a mole in the middle of his back. And when I was putting sunscreen on him, I noticed it changed color. So I made an appointment for the doctor to take him in to take a look at that.
Now that was when he was much younger, correct?
He was about 7, I believe.
You mentioned something about headaches for a week. You took him to the doctor. Was there a time where he had a headache issue?
Yeah, he was getting really bad headaches that we couldn't figure out what it was.
When was that?
Started young, probably around 5 years old, and he kept complaining. The doctors didn't really see anything. We even got an X-ray of his head to see if there was any bumps.
I'm just gonna check his irrelevance when he's 5 or 6 years old.
I was asking. I didn't know when it was. I was just asking if she got a medical.
But it's
care.
gone on through the years.
Okay, and
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
So then we found out that he needed glasses. So around 8 or 9, we got him glasses, and that didn't work. He got X-rays done for dental in middle school. We found out he had a severe underbite, which was causing tension in the back of his neck. So we got him braces in 8th grade, and once he had his braces, that seemed to fix the headaches.
Okay. Now with the braces, was that an easy process?
No,
Why not?
because he's horrible at brushing his teeth. He went use the water pick we got him. He wouldn't brush properly. He would constantly get cavities in his braces, so we ended up taking the wires out because one time he had 13 cavities under the braces. And we're trying.
Prior to him getting braces, did he ever have cavities?
Yeah, he had a few.
Okay, but did the braces? Was it more after the braces?
Yeah, because he wasn't brushing properly around his braces, so he was getting them under, and we had to get the wires removed and take them to get those filled until we could get the wire put back on.
Okay, so it was like an off and on procedure.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go through some exhibits for you that the defense has proposed as exhibits B through XX, and I'm going to ask. I wanted to add one more on as YY.
Judge, counsel's proposed a number of exhibits appear to be from Facebook, not from a Cellbrite extraction, but from Facebook. Some predate the incident by years. So as far as relevance, Judge, I don't mind any exhibits around the date of the offense or even the relevant time periods, spring of 2021. But prior to that, it doesn't appear to be relevant.
Your Honor, they had the specific pictures I was using since October. The specific pictures, isolated, not all the pictures, but specific pictures I was using. They never filed a motion to exclude any of those.
They don't have to, right? Okay, so we'll go exhibit by exhibit. I haven't seen any of the exhibits, so they obviously will be treated differently.
Okay, Your Honor, would you like me to bring you the hard copy, and then if the exhibit's okay, we can put it on the screen?
Yeah, if it's admitted, we'll put it on the screen.
Okay, and I did them just.
They have three copies of all these.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And, yeah, I haven't seen any of them, so.
And I've actually had them redacted and then sent the redacted version to cut out the faces of any minors.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to bring the court what's been marked as B through, this is YY if it's admitted, B through YY. May I